Hey guys, Tiffany High here with Results Driven REI. I'm here to introduce David Olds, who owns EZ REI Closings,
yes.
right?
I
always mess up saying it. So lots of our students use EZ REI Closings to handle their transactions, and I cannot stress this enough, especially early on in your journey, all the way to building up to 20, 30 deals a month just like us. It's important that we keep you guys on the phones and delegating off operational tasks that don't make money. And so David's company does transaction coordinating for folks in the industry. So I want to ask you a few questions if you don't mind.
I love it.
Tell us exactly how you help students get deals moved.
So thank you for that, Tiffany. So what we do, and being an investor for 20 years, one of the things that that I realized when I got into this business, it was not to become the greatest PPC expert or a title expert and figure out, how do I solve monument of title? Like, what does that even mean? What I got into this business to do was to make money, right? To talk to sellers and talk to buyers and cash checks. And that's fantastic, but what happens is as you start these businesses, you realize there are all these other things that kind of surround it that you have to do. And, you know, in the beginning, I tried to be the person who did everything myself. Like, I'm gonna work 18 hours a day and I'm gonna do every possible thing. And when I realized the real growth in our company happened when I started bringing in people and trusting them so that I could really focus on the things that I'm great at, which is obviously talking too much, but talking to buyers and talking to sellers. And, you know, I outsourced some things like, you know, my PPC and my marketing, and I brought in an amazing transaction coordinator. And that's a little, like, I get it. It takes a level of trust to let somebody else take your deals over the line. But then what happened is all of a sudden wires were coming into my account, and I'm like, what was the $22,000 from? Oh, that was that deal from like 3 weeks ago, dummy. I'm like, oh, great, because now I was just focusing on talking to buyers and getting my deal sold, and somebody else now was taking care of all of that. And even now, we hear that from our clients 30, 45 days after they start. Oh my God. They're like, I had no idea how much time this was really taking. You know, how much it just absorbs so much, because typically, you know, the type of people that come out and become wholesalers and investors, they're very like hustler driven, talky A personality, and that is not the same type of personality that loves problem solving and looking at deeds and title commitments, right? Like, those are different personality types. So like, I didn't love it. Yeah. Like, I could do it and I could muddle through, but it wasn't something that I loved. So once I had somebody that did love doing that stuff, they're really in their spot, like doing all that, and it allowed me to keep doing, you know, what I love to do. So the way that we are set up, clients of ours, they go out, get their contract signed, they literally drag and drop, upload it to us, and they're out, right? Go get your next deal, go sell your deal, go sit on the bench and have a Gatorade, whatever you want to do. Yep. And we sort of work like we're behind the curtain at the Wizard of Oz. We're gonna call your seller and say, hey, Mrs. Smith, we're working with Tiffany on your deal over at 123 Main Street. Mrs. Smith, I'm gonna be your point of contact from here all the way out, because we want you to go do your thing. And depending upon what type of deal it is, death, divorce, probate, whatever it is, because we've done so many deals, we know what the title company needs. And that allows us to really compress time and help you get your deals closed faster.
Yeah, one of the biggest benefits I know a lot of our students have said is that you guys know how to get a deal to the closing table. Yeah. So it doesn't matter what the probate situation is, what the divorce decree, whatever it is that you need.
There's crazy stuff.
They get creative and make sure that it gets closed. And the best part is, the other thing that we've been teaching people, and write this down, is you can cover the cost of his service by just adding a fee on your assignment. So imagine getting literally break even, have someone else handle all of your transactions while you stay on the phone and make another $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a pop. Yeah. Which is really the bigger picture here is, let's keep you guys on the phones and outsource this to the experts. And you guys have more experience than anyone. They do thousands of transactions a year through all of these creative ways to make sure that you guys get deals to the closing table.
All right, yeah, so whether it's wholesale or innovation or sub-2 or land or creative or wraps or whatever it is, what I tell clients is your worst day, your worst file is Tuesday for us. It just is. It's just because this is all that we do. Our office, we're not part-time realtors. We don't wholesale anymore. Everybody comes in 8:30, 5:30, and all they're doing is making sure that these transactions are getting closed. And again, because I was an investor for 20 years, I knew some things were important. I knew there were things that I need to make sure we had a very high level of just impeccable service, and we stress customer service from the day we hire somebody, constantly. It's one of our core values. But I wanted to make sure, because of my own frustrations, right? A couple of examples, I would send this file to a title company and, hey, Penelope is going to be your escrow officer. Okay, great. Well, then I call Penelope, and 2 days later she's like, oh, that got transferred over to Steve. I call Steve, and his voicemail's like, I'm out for 2 weeks, but Bob's got it, right? It's like whack-a-mole, trying to figure out who's going to handle my file. So I wanted to make sure that once your file comes in, it gets assigned to one of our TCs. They have it until the end. It will not go to somebody else. If they're on vacation, their boss might jump in for a minute, but one person is going to be tied to that file forever. And again, compression of time, they know the ins and outs of that file. They've talked to your seller, they've talked to your buyer. But the other thing is I wanted to make sure our people cared as much as you, right? We don't want, and I've experienced this, right? You send it to a title company and they just don't care. And it's incredibly frustrating because as a wholesaler, like I remember those days where I needed that $10,000. Like I needed it to close because wife and kids and rent and mortgage, right? So I understand that our clients have those same needs. So the way that we decided to incentivize our team is all of our TCs are actually on a blended pay system. So they get salary, but they also get a commission. So every time your deal closes or our client's deal closes, they get a commission. So they are very interested in finding ways to navigate these things through and get them to the finish line because they're in it to win just like you.
So the goal here is that we keep you on the phone, your team on the phone, making money. Let the experts handle getting the deal to the closing table while you guys focus on getting more deals to the closing table. So I encourage you guys to click the link, click the button, and just schedule a call with David's team and see if it's a fit for you.
Yep, absolutely. Well, we're going to jump on the call. We'll talk about how you're closing your deals currently. We'll talk about what we can do. We'll talk about how we can help you offset our cost. And actually, we've got some of our clients who've turned it into a profit center. So not only are they not walking through quicksand trying to solve these problems, but now they're generating additional income. And let's see if we're a good fit and we can help you grow your company too. Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, David.